talk about a guy trending way up in Drew McIntyre. Live on the Joe Cronin Show. Leave comments, leave likes, leave love. All right, what do we do with Drew McIntyre? Because it's like he's in a slight beef with like several people, if that makes any sense. It's like the guy's in like several mini beefs with people. We don't know what he's gonna do. You know? 18 people watching. I swear to God, these alerts don't work. Good Lord. Growing, you gain 700 subs in a week, but have the lowest viewership of a day stream in forever. Like, it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense, folks. Let's see if some more people can get the alert and get in here before I have to repeat things 70 times. Die, Gargi, die. Drew deserves better, according to J0. What's up, everybody? Remember, you can follow me on Rumble, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Did I say that already? What's up, everybody? Hit that like button. We'll get going here. A lot of news yesterday, kind of. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot. I would say it's not a lot of news, but there's a couple of big things. Guys, we're going to use the hashtag on Twitter, #LetRoadDogCook. So if you guys want to use that, please go retweet my recent Twitter. There it is. There's a link to my Twitter. Hashtag #LetRoadDogCook. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and see what he does. He's getting so much weird stuff right now, but he hasn't really done anything yet. And this time he doesn't have Vince on top of him. And anybody else probably on top of him, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. There are no excuses this time around. But remember, like I said, Yep. Yep. What's up, chatty chat? All right. I think the alert's gone out enough to people that we can start making this a thing now. So I want to talk about Drew McIntyre's stock in the company, man. I mean, stock as a character, as a wrestler. I mean, it is surprising to see where he's at right now because the guy is the guy has been just on the rise. It just won't stop for him. He keeps going up. You think like, okay, that's as good as it gets for him. Nope, goes to another level. I mean, I don't know if I can like draw out something. Let me see. Like, let's take a look. What do you think Drew McIntyre, like his stock talent-wise has been? I feel like it's amazing. Like, let's take a look at this. I mean, I don't know what you would call this. Like, we'll say WWE debut. WWE run. Indie run. WWE return. NXT, right? He came back to NXT first. WWE main. Okay. So, let me try to... We need more room for this. It's crazy how much more room. Current. Okay. So, we need, like, more room on this chart for all this stuff. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I just find this fascinating. Like, this is a story that... I mean, you would almost, dream of being in this situation. Okay, so Drew McIntyre debuts in WWE, right? And his stock is like going way up. It's like this is gonna be crazy. Like it's to the moon, but it's it's the beginnings, right? Like to the moon. Here we go. We're gonna go way up, and then it sort of just kind of goes back down the reality of okay, here we are. And then, as he hits this kind of like lower point, he then kind of just cruises for years and even lowers down to like the bottom of the barrel with the 3 MB or whatever. And then, he starts his indie run and his star starts to rise as he goes to different indie companies and stuff. And you could argue it goes up to like, somewhere around here. And then he comes back to WWE and goes to NXT, and then it just shoots up again even higher. Right? Starts to rise even more than the indies. It comes to the main roster, and it kind of flatterly continues to grow a little bit. Kind of stays a little stagnant. But, he's up higher than he's really ever been in WWE. And it's pretty good. Stock drops maybe a little bit, like, after the whole championship run thing happens. And then all of a sudden, like, the CM Punk rivalry thing happens and he shoots up another tier. And it's crazy. And now, he comes back down again a little bit to here where we are now. I mean, that's not the greatest map and linear graph or whatever that you could make for a guy. But, you know, you talk about living up to potential, and this initial debut is sort of like, oh my God, he's going to be this amazing thing. Wait, he's not really, back down to reality. But I would argue that in this past year, and maybe even you could argue here when he was the champion, right? Maybe this should be higher right here. Here's where he was like champion or whatever. You could argue that there he reached that potential, that being a star that he is. And you could argue that this past year with Punk, you know, is really, I think, bigger than his championship run. His championship run, it kind of reminds me when The Undertaker got the belt for the first time. He wasn't a mega guy yet, but he got a championship. And it kind of reminds me of even Bret Hart's first run. He got a championship, but then just it was okay, but he wasn't the big star yet. And Bret Hart eventually became a bigger star than he was the first championship run. So that's what this kind of reminds me of. And so to me, it's kind of amazing because you have this growth all the time for Drew McIntyre. That's what's amazing. It's like you could, you know, circle these green moments, right? Like he leaves WWE at his all-time low, right? Like this is all-time low right here. All-time low. Just you wouldn't think he could get any worse than that. But then you have the beginning of the indie run and things go up and you get like a checkbox like, okay, he's climbing out of it. Man, he's really good in the indies and TNA and Drew Galloway and all that sort of thing. Wow, this is crazy. Oh my God, he gets signed to, you know, NXT. Now what? You know, oh, bam, he hits this top of the line in NXT. Oh, now he's on the main roster. Then he wins the championship, you know. Then he goes down a little bit. Then he starts to rise again with the CM Punk stuff. And then he hits an all-time high for like promos and story and carrying a story and being the most interesting thing of the entire year. And I know this looks like a gynecological, like, you know, I don't know, I don't know what you call this, what we're looking at here. But this is the guy's career, bro, in my opinion. I mean, you couldn't, I don't know if you could ask for better. You know? And if you call this like flatline, right? Like this is like the flatline. And then there's like, you know, cold. And then there's like, you know, heating up. And then there's like, you know, in the green as like one of the top things you've ever seen. Kind of amazing. The story of Drew McIntyre is wild. Put some titles on it. We'll put some titles on it. Like mega. Hot. Cold. Dead. You put those titles up. And they make sense. I mean, this chart, you could really nerd out and graph this a whole lot better, right? But I don't want to do that. I think we get the idea. We can kind of eyeball it like I did and just make something up. I mean, Drew McIntyre's stock is wild. What a story. How can you not appreciate that story? I just said Drew McIntyre needs to start blaming the fans. Because if WWE isn't going to give Drew McIntyre a clear opponent at all, and you're going to have all these different people fighting him and attacking him and different things going on, I think that's fine. I think Drew McIntyre should come out and just basically attack the fans for like 3 weeks. I don't think he should get involved with anybody because stuff's all over the place with him right now. I don't think Drew McIntyre should be involved with anybody right now. I think Drew McIntyre should just come out and say, it's your fault. While I was having to deal with CM Punk, it was the most well-rated thing in all of our company. Most eyeballs on it, most people watching it. So yeah, while it was a pain in the ass for me and all this other stuff, it was what you watched. The executives calling me on the phone. Hey, you're the most watched thing right now. We don't agree with you, but this other thing and all this, that, and the other thing. You couldn't get enough of me. All of you couldn't get enough of me, yet you didn't buy my merchandise. I wanted to come out here a week ago and say something, and I wasn't allowed to because I don't get TV time. I have to bust my way out here and hijack the show. And that's what you should do, is hijack the show. And then say, but I'm gonna say what I've got to say. I've got 5 minutes, and I'll decide when I'm over. You're not gonna count me down from up there. I've got a live mic. You take one more step closer, and you know what I mean. I'll say something that's gonna cost you millions of dollars, whatever. And just have him hijack the show, and then have him beat up Michael Cole and stuff. Like, dude, do something crazy with Drew McIntyre. Have him be like Bret Hart was with Vince McMahon. You know what I mean? Like, have Michael Cole come in the ring with him and be like, Drew, you say, that you've been treated unfairly and all this sort of thing. Yeah, I have been treated unfairly. And here's why. When I was the champion, there was no one in the crowd. When I was the champion, this was going on. When I was the champion, this was going on. And now I have to deal with a guy like CM Punk for a year and blah, blah, blah. I can't get a shirt. Whatever the reality is of the whole thing. I can't get the shirt I wanted approved. I have my own designer. But no, WWE, we've got an idea for you. When I've got an idea for me. Why is anybody back there making the decisions? Because every decision that was ever made back there was a goddamn failure. And you goddamn know it, Michael Cole. Whether that other guy was running the deal or Triple H or whatever. I made Drew Galloway what he was somewhere else, and I was so hot that I got signed by NXT. I had to go somewhere else to show what I can do. I had to be in a rivalry with a guy like CM Punk to show what I had to do. What do I got to do? Do I got to go beat up CM Punk again? Do I have to make his life a living hell? I don't know, just come up with something like that where it's like he's angry at the system and everything's against him. And I know that's an old trope and like whatever else, but he's really got the validity that's really going on. And I don't want him to go too much into like, the system's against me, but it would be nice if he sort of like blamed the fans, maybe. Or maybe the first week he comes out and he sort of vaguely makes comments about how he's being screwed, right? And then see if the fans get behind him. Maybe the fans get behind him, and if they do, he can keep going without attacking the fans. But if the fans are booing him and treating him like he's a heel like he has been, then he can attack the fans and say, yeah, you didn't buy my merch either. Oh, we love you, Drew, except we're not going to support you, really. So then when I get in a meeting in the back and I say, I want to have a big match, I want to have promo time, I got things to say. Oh, sorry, Drew. You're not even one of the top 5 merch sellers. Meanwhile, I can't even design my own shirts. This goddamn system's against everything I do. And then have Michael Cole go out there and be like, listen, Drew, I'll sit down with you on the side. We'll talk about this in a segment. We'll air it in a couple of weeks or something like that. No! God damn it, I'm talking now, Michael! Get the hell out of the ring, Michael. Did they send you in here, Michael, to cut me off? Because me and you have a little bit of a relationship, Michael? Is that why they sent you in the ring? Drew, I'm just saying, we can talk about this later. We can air it all out in a long conversation. We can edit that conversation down to upload. Everybody can see it later, I promise you. I'll let you edit with me. to look at the segment, and we'll air it to everybody. You can air all your grievances, but right now is not the time. It is the goddamn time, Michael! Michael, let me show you how much I know it's the right time to talk about this. Or something like that. Like Michael Cole, you know why I know, Michael, that it's the right time to talk about this? Because I have grievances and you have a broken arm. You know, and then and Michael Cole's like, what? And then he breaks Michael Cole's, and he breaks Michael Cole's arm. And going into WrestleMania, Michael Cole's in a goddamn sling. Or Pat McAfee, or whoever you want. Another announcer. So now Drew McIntyre has broken the arm of somebody, maybe Michael Cole. And Michael Cole's in an arm sling. And, Drew is just getting heat on the fans. He's getting heat on Michael Cole, maybe even. And then Pat McAfee tries to step up to be like, whatever. He attacks Pat McAfee. And so just make it so that he's getting this heat still. And then you can, whoever it is that steps in to face Drew or to stop Drew, now inserts themselves into this situation that Drew's in and becomes his nemesis at that point. And now going into WrestleMania, there's a bit of a connection there. All this other stuff, he's like attacking this one, that one, someone else is attacking him. It's kind of just all over the place to me. But I don't know. These are just my idea. And I'm just rambling about this. How's everybody doing today? How's everybody doing, man? These afternoon streams just don't do that well anymore. I don't know what it is. I don't know if we aren't going out to everybody. I mean, 180 views is dead. I don't know what's going on. Maybe my channel's hidden. I'm not sure. I can see Drew breaking Wade Barrett's arm. Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's a great point. They could do Wade Barrett for sure. I love that. They could do Wade Barrett, and I don't know about Wade Barrett getting back in the ring, but they could do that he breaks Wade Barrett's arm. And yeah, and I don't know who would step in to wrestle Drew yet. I mean, there's obviously a lot of options out there right now with Drew, but I want it to be good. I want it to be interesting. I think LA Knight had some of the. I almost would go LA Knight at this point because, and I know I can't tell. I think LA Knight might be getting involved in something else, but I don't know, man. That stuff about get his stuff in the drama at the Royal Rumble, which may be the whole plan. They might have planted that whole thing just to have this heat on them. But yeah, maybe LA Knight and Drew McIntyre could probably be the best idea. And you could have LA Knight be the one that comes out to, stop him from hurting Wade Barrett more or Michael Cole more. I think Michael Cole's more vulnerable. So, something like that, but it's got to look good. It's got to look real and scary. And, Drew has to get really scary and go after people. I don't know if that will affect things, but be that as it may, whatever they do in the future with Drew McIntyre, one thing is clear, his stock has risen. Where will it go next? We don't know. Has it? I mean, it's the highest almost it's ever really been, aside from the fact that it's taken a step back now because of them pushing him back almost, but it had been at the highest it ever had been and still kind of climbing, even after his World Championship run or WWE Championship run. I don't remember even which one he had because all the belts just kind of blend in now together. But we'll see. Did anybody see Captain America? It's President's Day. People are out buying mattresses. That's a good point. Are people off work today? Maybe. And kids are on vacation. It is a vacation week. That is a big thing that I always forget. When there's a vacation week, people do go MIA. Like, they actually take a vacation. I haven't had a vacation forever, so I don't know what the hell those are. We don't take those. Although I'm technically kind of on a vacation right now because I got laid off, so I'm on an involuntary vacation right now. But we'll see what happens. I might be on a permanent vacation from life. But good point, Mastodon. That is a great point. We're on a big vacation. I tested out some sort of conversational AI news videos the other day, which part of it I thought was really good because they brought up a lot of facts and points that I didn't remember or didn't know about. And I think those podcasts with the AI thing were really cool for that. But then some of the takes were kind of just, devoid of anything. So, those things, we're really good about it. And I think it's something I'm going to do on an alt channel of clips and things like that. So I appreciate some of you guys listening to it. And some of it was pretty good. Some of it wasn't. But I know that it's not necessarily what my channel is and about and what you're here for. So you won't really be getting too much more of that. I mean, shorts, you might get shorts, but you won't get a lot of long form, more videos like that. Because I know you click on them and then you go, wait, this ain't Joe. And so, we don't want to do that to you because I know that's happened to me before when I'm subbed to people and I'm like, what the hell is this? So I'll have a separate channel for that stuff, which, will just kind of help me add to everything I'm doing everywhere and help me funnel things in and create other channels and things like that I'm doing. Obviously, to try to grow revenue, grow, visibility and all kinds of other stuff. Drew being eliminated in the chamber is going to be very predictable. Well, probably, yeah. But I'm just hoping that he has a really good, rivalry going in a Mania with somebody because the guy can really carry or not carry, but I mean, he can carry it, but he can also be involved in just such a great, hot story. And I just can't believe that, they haven't figured it out with him yet. But I hope that there's something in the works the right way for him, and we'll see come SmackDown. I know that we just had a writers change on SmackDown, so we'll see where the new writers take him, and maybe that's why there's no direction. I mean, maybe it's been in limbo the last few weeks with people being either moved around, let go, or changed, and maybe people just kind of haven't paid attention. I mean, it feels like that. It feels like SmackDown the last 4 weeks that, people don't care, or that they're like, oh, I work on Raw and Netflix now. Who cares about this? So we are, we're just sitting here kind of hoping someone takes the reins and a direction starts to go. That's so crazy. Bam. Get weird. Thank you. Drew left WWE before that worked out well. Just such a risk to go to AEW. Yeah. Yeah, it would be a risk to go to AEW. I mean, the only thing that so here's one thing. I don't know anybody very well, right? I know a little bit about Drew McIntyre, and we've had Drew on the show before, and he's really cool. He's a good guy. And compared to Miro and Aleister Black and several other people, I think Drew McIntyre has creativity in his brain. So, and I know the other guys do to an extent, but I think Drew McIntyre could book himself much better than the guys that have gone over to AEW in the past. Now, I don't want to see that. I hope that does not happen because I'm too scared of what they would do to him over there, or what could happen to him over there. But I would have more confidence in Drew in AEW. But he's not going there, I don't believe. But I would have more confidence in Drew in AEW because he is, I think he's more down-to-earth creative with what he can do, and he would bring a similar style to AEW, but yet he would be free to really go in on it. And he is definitely a guy that would carry that AEW championship, and he would be one of the top 3 guys, top 5 guys, or the top guy in AEW if he went there. So I'm sure that's appealing to him in some way. Whereas in WWE, he can be one of the best performers of the entire year and still get relegated down to middle of the card somehow. Or you can go to AEW and do 7 out of 10 work and be the number 1 guy. So, there is a bit of a temptation there of what do you want to do? Are you okay accepting that even when you are one of the best attractions the company has all year long, you could easily be just relegated to the middle of the card for WrestleMania? If you can accept that, then that's great. I mean, I probably would accept it for the most part, because I would say, well, listen, I was the WWE champion at one point. There was no fans here. I was the guy in the company for a little while during the worst period of the history of the company, almost, with no fans there. And I was able to pull that off, believable, and people enjoyed that for the most part. I got screwed, but I got to do that. And then I got to have the best rivalry, arguably, of the year, and maybe not arguably. Like, I think most people would agree I had the best rivalry of the year. I was one of the best people on the mic for the year. I was one of the best stories in the company for the year. Almost a year, 6 months, whatever it is. But that counts as a year because nobody else had a run like that. So, and then so what? Okay, at WrestleMania, now I'm working the mid-card, Macho Man Randy Savage worked matches with Crush at WrestleMania 10 in the last man standing type of match, whatever it was. That was bizarrely beneath him, but it was something he did. Macho Man had other matches with people like, that were sort of like middle of the road, but it felt really important, and it added a lot of value to WrestleMania, because even though, maybe Bret Hart and Roddy Piper were fighting for something, or somebody else was fighting for something, and Hulk Hogan was fighting for something, Macho Man was still there. Although that was, just kind of reference WrestleMania 8, where Macho Man actually won the WWF title, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there were WrestleManias where Macho Man, was not wrestling those type of matches. And other people, too. But, one of the only protected people would be like Hulk Hogan. But he's Hulk Hogan. I think one of the only WrestleManias where Hogan really didn't do anything wasn't going to be doing anything much, was the WrestleMania 9, where he tag teamed with Bruce the Barber Beefcake, and they didn't even win the tag team titles. But then at the very end, he got to win the WWE title in a freak, situation. So, and seemingly not even official situation, but, it's different. But one thing is true about Drew McIntyre. One really good thing is true about Drew McIntyre is, no matter what, whether he gets, in a mid-card type of match at WrestleMania, like a grudge match, attraction match, whatever you want to call it, or whether he, gets a main event spot, or whatever happens, whatever it is, this is the ascent of the guy. This is the guy's stock, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Pretty cool. Zeely for donations. Darkest Days is are you naming yourself after me? Is that why your name is Darkest Days? Stabbing Westward. I don't think I have that Zelly or whatever it's called. No, I don't think so. But either way, I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for watching the stream and being live here in the afternoon. I figured I'd give it a try one more time, and it's been a while since I've been live in the afternoons. But that being said, I'll check into that. I've heard about that Zeely thing before, but I think you're trolling me, so, I'm not going to bother, but nice try. But I do remember it. What is it called? There was something else I wanted to mention before I really got into Drew. and Road Dogg a little bit, but there was something else that I thought we had to talk about, and it's going to drive me nuts if I don't figure it out. I swear there was something else. Huh. Yeah, there was something else. I just don't remember what it was. I don't know. Someday I'll remember it. When I remember it, I'll tell you. And you'll be like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's what you were talking about. No, it wasn't Road Dogg. Was he really rock bottom on the Indies? No, he was rock bottom going into the Indies. Drew McIntyre was rock bottom going into the Indies. So, and then as he began his indie run, he went up and up and up into TNA. And then he did really well. He pulled himself way out of a hole and exploded in the Indies and TNA. And did a damn good job as Drew Galloway. And by the time he got hired by WWE, his stock had risen to damn near hot. Maybe it'd be a little higher than what I wrote here, but those green spots are all just like wins, check boxes of wins in his career. So I just think that this is a really, really good situation. It was a really good situation for Drew McIntyre. But if you guys want to support the channel, paypal.me. Streamlabs is pinned to the top of the chat. Obviously, we're ending the stream now, so you probably don't want to donate now. But Venmo, Cash App, paypal.me, and patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. And that's about it. Catch you next time.